My dear friends, welcome to our tutorial series dedicated to cryptocurrencies. Today we'll talk about how Bitcoin works. Getting a Bitcoin identity is a required step before executing any Bitcoin transaction. This identity is constituted of a public key and a private key. To understand the meaning of public key and private key, please go and watch our previous video on digital signature. The link is in the description. To understand how Bitcoin works, let's imagine for a moment that Bitcoin transactions are processed manually. In this imaginary world, let's take the example of Toto. After making his product selection, Toto is ready to check out, in this case by making a payment of 1000 Bitcoins. In front of him, the cashier, Tata, is waiting for the customer to make the payment. Therefore, Toto gets his wallet out. Inside his wallet, Toto has many checks. In this Bitcoin world, checks are called UTXO. UTXO stands for Unspent Transaction Output. A UTXO is made up of 6 key information. First, the current UTXO transaction ID. Second, the sender's public key. Third, the source UTXO ID. Fourth, the amount transferred. Fifth, the receiver's public key. And finally, the sender's signature of this UTXO. Once Toto has selected a UTXO from his wallet, he is ready to write a new check to Tata. When writing a new check or UTXO, Toto will first write in his public key. Then he will fill in the ID of the check he is drawing Bitcoins from. Next, he will enter the amount to be paid, in this case 1000 Bitcoins, followed by the public key of the receiver. Finally, Toto will sign his check with his private key. However, in this Bitcoin world, checks can only be drawn from once. Therefore, Toto will have to write to himself most of the remainder value of the check or UTXO he is drawing money from. Notice that Toto has left out some value from the original UTXO's total value. This amount will be held by the system as transaction processing fees and recorded automatically as a separate UTXO. Now that Toto has written his check to Tata, the shop owner, he can safely send it to the underground Bitcoin processing network. Once the check arrives at a Bitcoin processing unit or Bitcoin node, it goes through 2 validation steps. At the first validation checkpoint, the sender's public key and the source transaction ID are checked. At the second validation checkpoint, the sender's signature is verified. Finally, the check is encoded into a compact binary data block and sent for insertion into the blockchain. After being inserted into the Bitcoin blockchain, the binary data block returns to the processing node. At this point, the data block is decoded and the UTXO's receiver is notified that the Bitcoin transaction has been completed. The receiver now has a brand new UTXO to spend. After the transaction has been processed by the Bitcoin network, Tata, the shop owner, receives her new UTXO. Now she knows with absolute certainty that Toto, the client, has made the payment of the amount indicated. Toto can now take away his purchased goods. Thank you for your time. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. See you in the next video.